When we think of Elul, we often jump to think about the impending New Year, Rosh Hashanah. This brings thoughts of asking forgiveness from God and from others, the idea of judgment, eating our sweet round challah, and dipping apples in honey. So what are we meant to be focusing on now in the next couple of weeks of Elul? In this pre-Rosh Hashanah time, as the children and grandchildren have gathered all the new school supplies, their pens and pencils and notebooks have all been packed up, and there's a change in the air. Hopefully also a change from the hot summer weather to a cooler breeze coming in. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs has said that Elul is a time for spiritual rededication. It's a time for personal growth and strengthening our Emunah. And we have an allusion to the word Elul in Parshat Shlach, where we talk about the Meraglim, the spies going into the land of Eretz Canaan. The word Vayaturu is used, and the Aramaic translation there by Targum Onkelos says Vayaturu is Va'ilulu. This idea of exploring. The Meraglim came to scatter the land, and so the month of Elul is a time for us to explore ourselves, to navigate our inner world, to map out our future goals and aspirations, and to understand our misdeeds, our prior mistakes, and how we can work on ourselves. And this is what Elul is about. We know that there's many acronyms for the month of Elul. Rabbi Yael Vered has a book titled Rimzei Elul, where he lists over 30 different acronyms. The most well-known one is from the Song of Songs, from Shir HaShirim, Ani ledodi v'dodi li. If you look at that part of the verse, you have the two words, the dods, parallel each other, the two beloveds. I am for my beloved, and my beloved is for me. You have a symmetry in the center of the two beloveds sort of facing one another. This imagery is very strong. We have John Gottman talks about the idea of intimacy, and a significant measure of intimacy in marriage is the degree that partners turn towards one another. One partner makes a bid for attention. It could be very subtle. It could be a sigh, a facial expression. And the other partner, if they turn towards their spouse and they pay attention, it's a sign of the strength of the bond of the marriage. We have this idea of turning towards one another also by the Kruvim. Above the Holy Ark in the temple, in the Beit HaMikdash, the Kruvim face one another. And this reflects the intimacy of the bond between Am Yisrael, the Jewish people, and God, which of course is akin to a marriage. And this is the whole idea of the Midrash and Rashi's interpretation of the Song of Songs, where that verse is taken from. So in the month of Elul, we're meant to strengthen our bonds with our spouses and think, how much do I pay attention to those bids? How much do I turn to look at my partner? And likewise, we're meant to think about that in relationship to God, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem is sending me messages all the time. How much do I pay attention? And how much do I turn to Hashem and unload the worries that are on my heart? How much do I cry out to Hashem? How much do I trust that my beloved is waiting and listening? Another one of these acronyms comes from Mizmor Chav Zayin, which we read during the month of Elul. And there's a part of a verse, one word from a pasuk, from the end of a pasuk, and 3 words from the next pasuk, where it says, Va'aneni l'cha amar libi. It's a person, an individual is speaking to themselves. And we're saying, my heart is telling me to seek out God. My heart is telling me to call to Hashem. There's a message here that's so inherent in the month of Elul. Deep within, we have the answers. We have our inner voice that's saying, talk to God. Talk to Hashem. Urging us to delve deeper, to have a spiritual connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So right now in Elul, I think is the perfect time to take pen and paper, perhaps taken from the kids' new school supplies, and to pause and ponder, how can I deepen my sense that God is my beloved, listening to me and waiting for me? How can I deepen my Emunah in Him? Talk to Him, reach out to Him. And when's the last time that I paused and listened to my inner voice, cajoling me to a more meaningful and spiritual dimension? As we dip our apples in honey and we prepare for a new year, let's recognize the sweetness within this relationship that we already have with our beloved.